Okay, I am going to go through the first few questions on each page in your packet so you know how to do it. It's up to you, like when you want to pause the video and work on stuff, like work at your own pace. I'm just going to help you get started on each page. So this is the first page, finding the domain and range. All right, I'm just going to zoom in a little so that I can write easier on it and make my life a little bit easier. Okay, so the domain is the x's, and you are supposed to put them in order from least to greatest. So you're supposed to put these little curly brackets, and then we're going to find the domain, which are the x's, and put them in order. So from least to greatest, the lowest is -9, and I kind of like circle or cross off as I go to make sure I didn't miss any. What is the next lowest? -7. -3. And then 8 and 9. Close your little bracket. So least to greatest, -9, -7, 3, 8, 9. And then I'm just going to change colors to help organize myself. The range are all the y's. Again, they are going to be in order from least to greatest. Make your little brackets. So the lowest is a -1. The next lowest is +1. Then 3. Then 5. Then 8. So that's it. All you have to do is list the x's and the y's in order from least to greatest and practice making your little brackets, my curly brackets. So if you want to pause and finish this first page, that's fine. I'm going to go on to the next page and show you how to do that. All right, this is the same thing, except you're going to put them in circles, which is a mapping diagram. So you're going to put the domain over here, and you're going to put the range in this one. And again, it is supposed to be from least to greatest. So let's do the domain first. The lowest one I see is -11, and then -6, so -11 and -6. And you write them going down like this. And I see a -2 and a 5. Oops, sorry. And then we have the 8 and the 10. Again, these are all the x's. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing with the range. I'm just going to use a different color to make my organization easier. Again, you are supposed to put it from least to greatest, so the smallest I see is -16. -7. 8. And see how there's a 9 and then another 9? You only write the 9 once. So it's -16, 7, 8, and 9. Then what you're going to do is you're going to show what the input creates for its output, and you're going to draw arrows. I know this is very tedious. It's not hard, just bear with me. So if we go back up to our numbers, I'm just going to erase that a little bit so that I can see, because I like crossed everything out. And go back to our writing. All right, so we have 10, 9, so the 10 gives you a 9. So I'm drawing an arrow that the 10 gave us a 9. -2, so I did that one. -2 gives me a -16, so the -2 gives me a -16. The -6 gives me a 7, -6 gives me a 7. The 5 gives me an 8. 5 gives me an 8. The 8 gives me a negative 16. So yes, you can have this pointing to negative 16 also. And then the negative 11 gives me a 9. And again, we have another number pointing to 9. That is okay. So we have two numbers pointing to negative 16, and we have two numbers pointing to 9. That is totally allowable. So I'm going to say, yes, this is a function because none of the inputs repeat. The outputs repeat. The 9 is there twice and the 16 is there twice, but the inputs do not repeat. So I'm just abbreviating so I can fit on this line, because the x's or the inputs do not repeat. I'm going to do this one more time because I know this is new and I don't want you to get confused. It's easy, but I'm going to do it one more time. Pause if you need to before I start number 2. All right, number 2. So we're going to have the domain on the left and the range on the right, just like a function table. And again, I'm going to go from least to greatest. All right, domain. The smallest x I see is negative 20. Next smallest is negative 8. And negative 7. Okay, and there's a negative 7 here too, so you don't have to write it twice. You only write the negative 7 once. And then this end, we have a 2, a 3, and a 5. So I'm going to finish it off with 2, 3, 5. All right, then we're going to do the range again from least to greatest. The 1. A 3 and a 4 down there. Six. And then 7, 8, 9. Uh-oh, it's hard for me to write with the stylus, but we'll do our best. All right, I'm just going to erase this so I can read this better when I draw my arrows. All right, here we go. I'm going to do this in blue. And again, all you're going to do is draw an arrow for the input to the output. So negative 7 gives out a 4. Negative 8 gives out a 3. I like it when they're right next to each other. Negative 7 gives out a 7. All right, at this point right here, you can tell it's not going to be a function because the negative 7 gave 2 different answers, and that's not allowed. All right, so I'm going to remember that. It's not going to be a function because the negative 7 just gave 2 different answers. Right, negative 20 comma 8, 5 comma 9, 3 comma 1, and 2 comma 6. All right, so nope, it's not a function. Negative 7 gave 2 different answers. All right, you guys need to try to finish these 2 on your own. You can pause and do it. I'm going to go on to page 3. Now that you understand how this works, this is really easy to figure out if it's a function or not because you can see if it's going to give 2 answers or not. So number 1 is a function, yes, because that gives 1 answer, 8 gives 1 answer, and 9 gives 1 answer. So as long as each input only gives 1 output, it is a function. Number 2, not a function. I can tell right there that my 6 is giving 2 different answers. You can't have the 6 give 2 different answers. Number 3, nope. I can see right there that the 3 is giving 2 different answers. This one looks good. 7 gives an answer, the 6 gives an answer, the 5 gives an answer, and the 0 gives an answer. It's okay that more than one gives the same answer of 5. That's fine, okay? So the y's can repeat and be more than once. The x's cannot. All right, number 5, that looks good. Remember, this is okay. This is okay. You can have different numbers all give out a 3. Number 6 looks good. This is okay. This is okay. 7 looks good. And finally, 8. Nope. Right there. That's 6 giving out those 2 different answers. You can't have that. All right? So hopefully you understood that. And then you're going to try this page on your own. Again, it's just yeses and nos, looking at if there's any repeats. All right, and finally, we're going to do our function tables, just because I think that's what we're weak in. So function tables are going to help you figure out like graphs and the equation and all that, so they're important. So functions are represented by an equation. The equation will generate an ordered pair by taking an input, which is your x, and that results in an output, which is your y. And then I will do an example for you. All right, so my equation right here is take x and add 7 to it. So all you're going to do is take these x's and use the rule of adding 7. So -1 plus 7, 0 plus 7, 2 plus 7, and 4 plus 7. You can use your calculators if you want. All right, so we get 6, 7, 9, 11, and then you're going to write it as an ordered pair. So when we put in a -1, we got out a 6. So my ordered pair is -1, comma 6. A 0 gave us a 7. 0, comma 7. 2 gave us a 9. And 4 gave me an 11. Okay, so there are 3 more of those for you to do and practice on your own. You can use a calculator, it's fine. Please be good for the sub, finish your work, and have a good day.